Travel and tourism, big business in this country, $92 billion worth. That's larger than forestry, mining, and agriculture combined. For more on this and the potential this country has to become an international travel hotspot, we're joined by Tony Chapman, CEO of Tony Chapman Reactions. Tony, great to have you here as always.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the global picture. Obviously, Canada is not the only place in the world that attracts tourists. This is big business around the planet.
Approaching $2 trillion, direct to indirect, 11% of the world's GDP. And you got to imagine that every country, every region, every city is trying to develop tourism for good reason. One, great jobs, both entry level and fabulous careers. Local economy, investment, your property values, the flair, the excitement, the energy. All of this is just, the spotlight's on. We got to build tourism. Canada doing an exceptional job. David Goldstein, who works for Destinations Canada, their job's to market abroad. And then you have Charlotte Bell at the Tourism Industry Association of Canada to kind of organize it. Last year, we had record numbers. 20.8 million people visited Canada. And for the first time, we really grew international travel outside the United States. So it was just a sense of everybody wanted to come and have a taste of Canada.
All right, clearly we're holding our own. It's just not the Americans, which we relied on so much with them being able to cross the border and use their strong currencies. What are we doing right then? What are we selling to them? Because people think, I mean, from living here, you'd say, oh, what are we selling to the world? Are we selling Niagara Falls, Anna Green Gables, and the Mounties? We have more to offer than that.
Well, I mean, geographically, we have the second biggest footprint, 2 coasts, Arctic's opening up. You've got everything in between. I think there's a couple of things. Obviously, our currency's favorable. We have the Trudeau effect. I think he's created a lot of interest around the world about Canada. We've got this whole sense of we're the most popular, best place to live. All these polls kind of percolate Canada to #1, so it creates an itch. And I think that's something we can never underestimate. We invite a lot of people to come in and make Canada their home, and what they leave behind them is friends, family, and a huge social network.
Now, in terms of splitting the country up, Canada as a whole, marketing ourselves to the world, imagine every province is a little bit competitive in terms of wanting to bring people into their neighborhood. Is there cooperation?
You know, I do a lot of talks at tourism. It is very collaborative, but you still get, like, Toronto's like Canada's downtown, right? So people go, wow, what do you mean I have a downtown? But what I do really like about it is the fact that everybody knows that anytime somebody comes in here, they're bringing in their money, they're contributing to our economy. $10 billion, the government's take on tourism last year, so it's a big revenue generator. So there's a lot of good things. And look at next year, this year, we got the year with China, partnership with China, and cannabis. And this cannabis could be another whole boom because
because we've seen that in the States, right? We've seen this sort of recreational cannabis vacation kind of thing happening.
It's huge, you know, and as always, I mean, you grew up in Ontario, Montreal's legal drinking age was a year. A lot of people went to Montreal, so people that want that kind of experience, it's part of it.
It's like you read my biography. all about Hull when I went to Carleton in the early 90s.
I went to Carleton too. You go to across the river to
Exactly, because
Hull.
the bars closed at 1 o'clock in the morning in Ontario. Boom, everyone got in a cab, went across the Hull.
Yeah.
Apparently it doesn't happen anymore. Let's talk more about the kind of jobs that we can get out of this for the country, because we do worry about creating high-quality jobs in Canada. And if this is going to be a boon for the economy, what kind of positions can we expect from
Well, robots will find their way into some of the meaning of labor, but in general, over half the jobs, about 1.7 million in Canada, are people under the age of 35. So there's a lot of great entry-level jobs, but there's also a fantastic career because you're involved with putting smiles on people's faces. So if you get involved and you embrace it and you say, that's what I want to do for a living, is create these stages that people can stand on and have a great adventure, it's a great place to make a living.
Now, you say Canada's been doing a great job, and we had a great year as well, but when we look at the top 10, we're not in it. We're currently number 17.
17. And I think
get our country into the 10.
I think we can. I mean, yes, we don't have the museums of London or maybe the romance of Italy, but we have so much to offer. But I think we've really got to go, and this is more to local operators. I think we got to do a greater. Everybody's got to be accountable to do more to make sure people that come to Canada want to come again and bring other people.
Now, we do want those international visitors, but the Americans are our largest trading partner, and they're right next door. And we've bought a lot of Americans in this country. How's that trend working? Are still the same numbers, percentages coming across the board?
Again, they grew that number last year too. I mean, 20.8 million. They did. A lot of Americans came across, and they still want, obviously, that American group. But no matter who comes across, I mean, I think nowadays the trends to me would be personalized. We don't want this mass experience anymore. We want something personalized. Everybody thinks they're a celebrity. I want my Instagram moment. Or I might be, you know, a divorced dad taking my daughters or sons, and I want an experience that is so unique that I might only get them 2 weeks a year just to myself, that I walk away going, yeah, the destination was great, but the overall experience is what mattered most.
In terms of this country, we know from living here that we have a great summer across most of the country, and you can do some wonderful things. Is there still a perception, though, internationally, that Canada is a cold weather winter country? I mean, you can make a lot of money selling cold to people, but we do have seasons.
Well, there is. In the shoulder season in travel is always, if I can get people to come on the shoulder seasons, because we get effectively sold out in the summer. We're doing a great job in terms of the skiing. You look at the amount of people that are going to Banff, going to Whistler. I think snowshoeing. I think getting involved in some of the local, as the world warms up, and we have 1/5 of the world's fresh water. Winter's going to be very appealing if it's, and again, it's personalized. It's not, well, I'm just sitting there and it's under siege. What can I do to make this winter experience better? I was just up at Lake Simcoe. I couldn't believe how many people out on fishing huts. Well, I would love to have gone out in a snowmobile and gone out and tried fishing for a day, because I would have come back and said, I've done something I never thought I would have. And again, that's where Canada could put their best foot forward.
Next week's show, it should be you and I ice fishing out in Lake Simcoe.
Well, let's do it right out there. We'll get the cameras.
Get the producers
I got to see
involved.
anybody running to sign up for that one. But
Right, great to have you here as always, Tony.
thanks.
It was Tony Chapman, the CEO of Tony Chapman Reactions.